The creator Reckless Ben is the most viral creator on YouTube right now after exposing a huge scandal involving a multi-million-dollar corporation and their collusion with the local police department. So I'm going to analyze and deconstruct exactly what made this investigation series go so insanely viral. My name's Salty. I've worked alongside some of the biggest creators in the industry and have been a full-time content creator for over a decade now. This is my new channel where I give insight into how a top creator thinks. I'll give a quick summary of the whole story just so you're in the loop, but I do highly recommend you to just go watch the series itself first because it's actually just so entertaining. It's so good. Genuinely one of the greatest YouTube series of all time. So a guy named Brian, and particularly his father, an elderly man, owned a Star Wars Lego collection worth $200,000. You know, the guy Brian wanted to make some money, wanted to get some money off it because his father's health was literally declining. So they decided to co-sign it to a little store called Bricks Minifigs, a multi-million-dollar corporation. And now the deal was that Brian and the father still own the Lego collection, but they were going to get a percentage off the sales when Bricks Minifigs sold the merchandise. But essentially the store changed owners, and the weird thing about it is that the new operators just didn't return the collection that was Brian's and his father's legally, and they basically just yoinked all of the equipment, stonewalled them whenever they tried to get it back. And yeah, that's obviously just insanely messed up. Now, the interesting part here is that after months and months of trying to get it back, Brian reaches out to the YouTuber Reckless Ben, who does a bunch of investigation series on his YouTube channel. Probably the best decision he could have made because Reckless Ben's series went so viral, and basically all of the media attention is forcing Bricks Minifigs to now honor the agreement that they originally had. I mean, wow, so nice of them. Now a bunch more stuff happens in the series. Reckless Ben gets arrested, there's collusion with the police, the CEO of Patreon has jumped into the situation, and now there's like huge lawsuits, court filings, and they're trying to silence Reckless Ben after all of this. It's insane. Like, there's literally just so much that has happened. But of course, here we're going to be primarily talking about the strategy side of things, everything you can learn as a creator, as a marketer, or just someone involved in the media space in general, because I'm going to be giving some pointers to what Bricks Minifigs should have done instead, because, I mean, it's actually just pretty obvious what they should have done. They just somehow made the situation a million times worse for themselves for no reason. Very interesting stuff. So the first thing I want to cover is why exactly this series went so viral. Because I mean, there's a lot of, you know, really cool stuff on YouTube nowadays, a bunch of stuff like this. What exactly made this story gather the attention of everyone on the internet, essentially? So I think the biggest thing, without a question, which unfortunately is a little vague, is that the essence of this story is just truly remarkable. The story, the situation, just everyone involved, it really just came together to make it truly special. And this is always like my number one thing that I say. It pretty much goes hand in hand with the purple cow factor, which you should know about if you watch my other videos. Yeah, the purple cow factor is literally almost always why something goes so insanely viral in today's social media landscape. Now, obviously, the hard part is actually identifying what exactly those components are that made it a purple cow. Really quick though, if you don't know what purple cow is, it's basically, if you're driving down a road and you see a cow, it's nothing special. If you see a purple cow, you stop and look at it because it makes no sense. It's weird. It's unordinary, it's an outlier, so that draws your attention. Now, what do I think those components here are in this story or this series? Well, I think it checks off a lot of the basic things that you'll learn in like storytelling school. The pacing was amazing. There was never a dull moment in these YouTube videos. It's just go, go, go. It follows a very nice story arc of just increasingly crazy stuff happening. And of course, it starts with a goal, and we are progressing towards that goal the entire time. Pretty basic story stuff. But there's also a lot of twists and turns, which is pretty integral to YouTube videos and just, you know, media. If you can kind of predict exactly what's going to happen, it does get a little stale, a little boring, and you might just want to like skip to the end. But literally, there is so much that happens in this series. If you watched it, you would know that I'm literally just sitting there. I'm dumbfounded that this dude is doing all of this stuff. His name really makes sense. Reckless Ben. Like, he is literally doing a lot of stuff that maybe he shouldn't do. I mean, it did kind of get him into some legal trouble and some trouble with the police, but man, it made for a good YouTube video and good content. I mean, he literally like lures an employee out into the forest, has this whole weird ritual, and I think they're just like secretly recording her and stuff of that nature. I mean, like, what the hell? And then the part that really surprised me is that they created a company, like a literal business with an LLC, I believe it was, called We Steal From Old People, and then they used the Bricks and Minifigs logo as like the slogan or something, apparently. I don't know if they're allowed to use their image. I mean, there might be some copyright issues there, but you know, that's besides the point. We're not here to analyze that. But that's just such a cool like segment of the story. Like you don't expect this from a YouTube series, you know? Just going above and beyond in every single way, shape, and form. He, of course, uses a bunch of other good storytelling techniques like really good foreshadowing, mentioning cool things that are going to happen later in the video, so people stay to watch. You should obviously do that yourself. Every good story also has extremely compelling characters, which you can check this off the list for this as well. I mean, of course, Reckless Ben is a character himself, but I mean, we got the old man who's literally like dying, and this is his Star Wars collection, like his life collection, that adds so much to the story. And I'm going to keep calling it a story for simplicity's sake. It kind of feels weird to call, you know, his life a story, and these of course are real people, but you know, just for simplicity, I'm using a lot of storytelling terminology. Yeah, so you got that. You got the old man who's literally dying. Life work in his Lego collection has been stolen from him from a multi-million-dollar corporation. I mean, this literally just seems like a Disney, like a current modern day Disney plot. Couldn't have literally fabricated anything better. And then you got the literal CEO of Bricks and Minifigs who ends up showing up later in the series, and he is just, oh man, he's unlikable. Let's just leave it at that. Very manipulative, very arrogant, and oh, you just want to see him get a taste of his medicine, man. You just really want to see it. This was also a multi episode series, something that's not too common on YouTube, but this was like an extremely long process, so it makes sense. And the good thing about that is he's actually cliffhanging between episodes. Like, you just really want to see what happens in the next episode. At least I did. Another thing you could check off is it has real life stakes. Again, we went over it, the $200,000 Lego collection of the dying old man. You know, real life stakes really make a story so much better, because, you know, if this was just some like random gaming drama between like two players, like there's nothing really, you know, too crazy about it, so you don't really care that much. And I touched on this a little bit, but Ben really does go above and beyond with making the segments just like, there's just so many interesting segments where you're just like thinking, dude, why did you do this? How did you do this? Why did you do this? Why are you doing this? Like, you're gonna get in trouble, dude. Like, just so many, it just keeps you hooked to the video. Like, there's just no reason anyone would want to click off. Like, why would you want to click off when you're seeing all of these segments back to back to back to back, which are just insanely epic? Like, I feel like I haven't seen a video with this much effort and this much time investment since like early day Mr. Beast, where you're just like, dude, what are you doing here? I think the authenticity plays a really big part in well, like just very authentic dude. And lastly, I'll say on this this one topic, this also plays into a very big like David versus Goliath feel. Like, this is just a dude, his dad, Lego collection, and a YouTuber versus a multi-million-dollar corporation with a bunch of lawyers, the literal police department hand in hand with them, trying to screw them over, and, you know, basically colluding with the company themselves, allegedly, of course. Please don't come after me next. But yeah, it's just like a classic underdog story, you know? You just want to root for them. You just want to see them win and finally be victorious and get that Lego collection back and stick it to this company. The intro itself to the video was really good. Like, it just started out with, you know, a nice little tale about some robbery going on. I like the way they kind of like just made it a story and then just kind of segued into the reality of the situation. It was pretty interesting, pretty cool. And lastly, the last bit of thing that contributes to the purple cow factor is all of this and the fact that it is easy to understand. Literally anyone could watch this and understand it. It's just, you know, universal basic things. Again, like I said, David versus Goliath, stealing, corporation, greed, all of that stuff, great stuff, very easy to understand and follow. And of course, what this led to is something that's very important in today's attention economy and social media in general, is that everyone started talking about it.
I don't even know how to intro this video because there's nothing I can say that will actually do the scope of this corruption, and
I have no idea what to expect. Buckle up.
Every freaking commentary channel under the sun, people on Twitter, people on Instagram, literally everywhere, just posting clips about it. Obviously, the videos itself are getting a bunch of views and his channel is getting a bunch of organic growth from that. The algorithm's pushing it to a bunch of new people. But like I said, like one of the most important things in today's economy is not just that, not just getting the organic growth from the platform itself. It's getting other people with big audiences to talk about your situation and then funnel people over to the situation. Like I literally wouldn't have known about this situation if it wasn't for me watching someone else cover the situation. That's the only reason I found out about it. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably found out about it the same. And of course, to tap into this, you need to do something again. Purple cow, truly remarkable, and then people will talk about it. I mean, we even had the CEO of Patreon jumping into the mix, which I think was absolutely the right play from him, and I'll explain in a second. But apparently, Patreon got a request to take down Reckless Ben's Patreon and like GoFundMe or like video support or whatever it was from Bricks and Minifigs, because again, they were going through every single legal avenue that they could to take down this series and get people to stop talking about it. And oh my god, just hit me up next time if you need help with this, because that is not the right way to do it. I mean, we all know about the Streisand effect. The more you try to quell something, the more people want to talk about it in response to that. Very, very not smart from them. But yeah, the CEO of Patreon seems a lot smarter and a lot more internet savvy than the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, because he didn't capitulate to the request to take it down, thankfully. Well, thankfully for Ben's sake, and just like, that would have been very unintelligent from Patreon's standpoint as well. Like, if they did that, if they would have taken down Reckless Ben's stuff, oh man. Oh man. It would have caused a lot of the outrage and anger for the situation to now get redirected to Patreon, and there would have been a new target in the situation. So thankfully they didn't do that. But bonus points to the Patreon CEO for releasing the video that he did, because I feel like a lot of CEOs like of these big tech companies, like they just want to avoid, you know, they want to avoid these controversies at all cost, and you can't really blame them. Like I don't remember the last time Neil, the CEO of YouTube currently, or Susan, who was the previous CEO of YouTube, don't remember the last time they stuck their neck out and were like, yo, I'm keeping this controversial series on YouTube, I don't care, free speech, baby. Like they just don't do that. They just stay in the shadows, let things take their course. But yeah, Patreon CEO literally put out this video basically just flipping him the middle finger, which did a lot of really good things for him and Patreon, in my opinion, because he's kind of what we call trend jacking the situation, attaching yourself to a trend, because everyone's talking about this situation. Once the Patreon CEO covered this, Moist Critical covered it, a bunch of people covered it. And again, that's getting that, other people's audiences to think about Patreon now. So he literally trend jacked the situation to get more eyeballs and more awareness to his own company. Very smart. But also, I mean, this is some of the best PR and advertisement that you could ask for your company like this. Like, not only are you just getting into the good graces of the whole internet, because, you know, everyone hates Bricks and Minifigs right now, so anyone who flips them the middle finger, they're gonna applaud you no matter what, pretty much. But you are literally showcasing your product, why it's a good idea to be on Patreon, because they're gonna stick up for you as a creator. And yeah, it's just like great advertisement for Patreon. Like, hey, you should come put your stuff on here because we got your back. And again, they could have stayed silent. I think a lot of other CEOs would have stayed silent. So this was very, very smart in my opinion. Now, I wanted to touch on the mistakes that Bricks and Minifigs made. There's a lot of them. After this, I'm actually going to get into some of the changes I would have made to Ben's series to make it go even more viral, potentially, even more viral, like things I would have done. But yeah, first with Bricks and Minifigs. I mean, dude, if you guys, there's no way they have a social media PR team because, well, maybe they do. If they don't, maybe they should get one. Just absolute masterclass on exactly what not to do. So first of all, what they should have done is just give the collection back, dude. Well, I mean, literally, you don't even need to give the collection back. Just like honor the original agreement. Like you guys had a good agreement in the first place. Just, you know, look to sell off the inventory. The guy still owns it, Brian. And then you collect royalties on the sales. I mean, all would be good. I don't get why they didn't just do that. But instead, they tried to like finesse the situation, take over the store and go, what Legos are yours? I don't know. This is just all our stuff. I don't know. Beat it, bro. Literally makes no sense. But, you know, they thought they could get away with it. And the funny thing is they could have gotten away with it. They were getting away with it. Maybe that's why they were doing it. Until Brian made the genius decision, giga-brain decision to contact Reckless Ben. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. This was extremely unlucky for Bricks and Minifigs because I don't think if this guy went to any other YouTuber to cover this, that this would have happened. Like, Ben is just crazy, bro. He is the only one who would go to this extent to pull all of this off. And it worked massively well for him. So, it worked massively well for both of them. But yeah, secondly, once you knew that there was a YouTuber involved and this was like a series that was going to go out on social media, oh, you should have changed your tune real quick, bro. You should have changed your tune real quick. But the CEO is literally like playing dumb, trying to manipulate the situation, trying to gaslight them. And then he literally is like throwing a tantrum like a child. He's like, you stole it. You stole the Legos. Like,
dang.
You stole them, bitch.
I stole the Legos?
Yeah, you're a fucking thief.
Dang.
Hey?
Okay.
You can shut the fuck up. That's your fucking...
how are you a CEO of a company, bro? Like, this is embarrassing. I've just never seen that. Like, it just made no sense. And it's like, he's getting it all on camera. So, I mean, truly a bizarre response. But once all of this came out, Bricks and Minifigs actually did kind of change their tune. They're like, oh my God, we had no idea. This does not reflect the values of the company. We're going to make this right. We are going to do everything we can to make this right. We never intended not to, you know. The typical stuff, which was good. It was good. I was like, oh, okay, they stopped the bleeding. Things might actually turn around now. This will all blow over. And then they literally had it solved. It was fine. That was the correct choice to make. Stop the bleeding. Stop the damage right then and there. Take the L's that you took. That's the best you could do at that situation. That was all you could salvage. But then they hit Reckless Ben with another lawsuit, more court filings to try to silence him so he can't release part 3, which I guess is somewhat working for them right now. But again, not again. I don't think that's going to work. I think part 3 is eventually going to see the light of day. I'll get more into that later on. But it's like, dude, you just messed up in the exact same way again. You're trying to silence him and stifle him, and now he can say that. Now everyone's talking about it again after you had just saved face as a company somewhat. You just did the same thing again, and now, again, the Streisand effect and all of that stuff. I mean, dude, like, just major face palm. Just, wow. Could not have played this worse, literally. But okay, now I want to touch on some things that I think would have made this series even more viral from my perspective. This series just went so mega viral. I mean, he doesn't really need to change anything. But for me, I think the biggest thing that could be improved is the thumbnails of these videos. I honestly personally think a lot of Ben's videos could use better thumbnails. Like, his videos are just insane. Like, I actually personally haven't watched any of his other videos at this point. But from what I've seen from this series, he puts so much effort into his videos. It kind of pains me to, like, think that there's a lot of views on the table here because the thumbnails aren't ideal, which is just the name of the game on YouTube. Like, it doesn't really matter how amazing your video is, how long people watch, the watch time, the watch percentage. It doesn't really matter if they never click on the video, right? If they never click on the video, you got a big old 0 for the watch time. And of course, you know, YouTube is very snowbally, momentum based. So even just like a certain percentage more people clicking on the videos, these videos could get way more views. Because I'm honestly surprised they don't have more views on the videos with just how many people are talking about it. And again, I think the primary reason, in my opinion, is the thumbnails. I'm going to go into some of the details on what I would change is, but let me say some of the good things I do think are in the thumbnails. I think him having his face in it is good. You know, that's just good branding. You know, if people know about you, they see your face in the thumbnail, they'll click it. Especially since he's like really hot news right now. If they just see him in the thumbnail, they recognize him. Okay, let me click the video. So that's good. But I think one of the biggest detriments to his video, and maybe I'm wrong on this, you know, maybe I need to see some of the analytics myself, but I think a lot of his thumbnails are just very dark. And, you know, dark thumbnails can work. And again, maybe it fits with the whole investigation, you know, investigative series vibe, and that's why he's doing it. But typically the brighter thumbnails do catch more attention for a lot of reasons. I mean, I touched on it on my thumbnail video, which if you want to learn more about thumbnails, they're the top two biggest, most important things on YouTube, if not the most important thing on YouTube. Like literally it's so important. You can never understand how important the thumbnail is. You think you do, and then you still don't. That's how important they are. But yeah, that video, very good. I go in depth on literally everything that I've learned over a decade making YouTube thumbnails. But one of the points I touched on is that, you know, we as humans look towards light. Like light is the first thing we see. If we see a black wall with one little light point on it, we instantly look at that. And so when you're thinking about YouTube as like, you know, a wall, and a lot of people use dark mode as well, even without dark mode, but especially if you use dark mode, which is a lot of the audience. When your thumbnail is that beacon of light, you instantly just hijack people just instantly look at it. So I think if they were a bit brighter, that would help a lot. I honestly think a bit of a more realistic portrayal of what was happening in the series would go a long way as well. Like the original thumbnail is just him with like the Millennium Falcon, is it? I don't know. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, I can't lie. I've watched the movies, of course, but I can't recall every single name. But anyway, I think it's the Millennium Falcon. It's just him holding that, right? And, you know, in conjunction with the title, it makes sense. But if you don't read the title and you just look at the thumbnail, it doesn't really portray the story in the best way possible, which in my opinion, you do want to visually kind of tell the entire story of the video visually, like as quick as you can so the viewer understands it, which I don't think the thumbnail and the subsequent thumbnails do perfectly. I do like the more realistic, nitty-gritty vibe he's going for with his videos though. But again, you know, something I would have done maybe is like, you know, some corpo person, you know, literally stealing the Legos from an old man, something of that nature. Maybe even bonus points if he like includes the cops in there somehow as well, because they're a very big part of the video. But I think that not only like tells a better story and a more accurate description of the story, but I think it like it's such a more emotional response, right? Because again, the original thumbnail, him with the Millennium Falcon, it's like, it doesn't really do that for me. But, you know, that's one of the only things I would change about this series. I'm going to get to the part 3 section in a second, but I want to talk about some of the unexpected consequences of this investigation series, especially with Bricks and Minifigs. I mean, it's like you can't understate how much of a self-own this is for them and their company. It's like, I'm pretty sure if I read this correctly, that they're actually seeing like declining in sales and harassment at their other franchisee stores because of this. And again, this is a franchise model, so this is like hurting a lot of innocent people involved who have literally nothing to do with this. And of course, the company itself. But it's like, you literally could have isolated this and just, this shouldn't have been a big deal. But now, you will literally see every single Bricks and Minifig store get backlash, face harassment, people messing with you, showing up, you know, doing TikTok challenges or whatever, you know, just messing with the employees, messing with the owners. It's like, dude, you don't want to piss off the internet, man. That should be your number one priority as a company of this size working in the media space. Well, they don't really work in the media space, but you don't want to piss off the internet. We all know that. And the funny thing is, all of this attention is only boosting Ben's career even more. I mean, I never knew about him before this series. And all of this backlash. I'm sure 99% of you watching have never heard of him before this as well. Like, they literally single-handedly just like catapulted this dude into severe fame. And I think he's going to be able to capitalize on this even more. Now, as for Lego, I have heard someone say that, you know, Lego shouldn't get involved because this is bad PR for them and this is going to hurt them. Personally, I disagree with that assessment. I think for Lego, this is either neutral, like, you know, nothing's really happening to them from this. Because I think most sensible people like understand that Lego doesn't really have anything to do with this. But I also think it could be neutral or good, because at the end of the day, this is just like more brand awareness for them, and it's getting people to think about Legos. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I thought about Legos. I don't even know, like years and years ago. But now I'm like, oh yeah, Legos. Yeah, that's right. So I think there's a lot of people out there who are just like thinking again about Legos. Dude, if Lego came out with a new Star Wars line from this, oh man, they should do that. That would be awesome. But they could even capitalize on this situation even more, get a lot more brand awareness, get more people thinking about them. So for Lego, I think this situation is completely fine, especially in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this won't really do anything. Now, something that ties into the next or the last thing I want to talk about, which is the part 3, which has been stifled. He hasn't uploaded it. He apparently has the video ready and he isn't allowed to upload it because there's a court order that he's not allowed to publish it. I think that's pretty surprising, especially with the US's, you know, free speech laws and all of that stuff. I'm not a lawyer or anything. This isn't my area of expertise. But again, they shouldn't have done this. This is only going to negatively affect them even more. And I also think that this will eventually see the light of day. When it does see the light of day, I will be here to cover it. So subscribe to not miss that analysis. But I'm literally wondering if he could, like, you know, give it to someone else to upload or something of that nature, you know, find a loophole around it. Or I think eventually he's going to get the legal okay, because again, there's no real basis to actually stop him from uploading this. From my understanding of the law, okay, there's no legal basis, because I'm pretty sure if what Ben said is correct, like, they are, you know, basically saying that he was like threatening to kill them or like, you know, a bunch of crazy stuff that he wasn't obviously doing. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they based it off of. But like, you can't just stop someone from uploading a video because it's going to hurt your company or your brand's reputation. Doesn't really work like that. So they're only delaying the inevitable, and they're just pulling this out even further than it has to be, bro. They just need to get this behind them as quickly as possible. Not looking good for Bricks and Minifigs. But yeah, when that does drop, I will be here to cover it. And you can check out the video I did on McDonald's CEO and their handling of their almost PR crisis. And it's a masterclass. They completely 180'd it, flipped it around, used it to their advantage, and just hats off to them for that. I analyzed that. You should go check it out. It's a good video. But yeah, more to come. I'll see you in my next video.